Okay, guys, we got to do this video. And of course, I'm loving and excited to do this one because number one, I love Kelis. I've always loved Kelis. If you guys listen to my videos, or you listen to my tarot readings when I do them, you'll know that Kelis is a Leo, Nas is a Virgo. Leo is a sign that's been very strong in my life. I'm a Cancer sun, and I always wonder. Of course, I think things affect the signs different depending on which decan you were born in, decan, whatever decan you were born in, because I believe that plays into other signs that you may kind of get along with. Because I hear sometimes Leos say they don't get along with Cancers, or Cancer say that not often, but I hear that come from Leos sometimes, or Cancer sometimes, that they may bump heads with a Leo, but that has never been my experience. As a Cancer, I'm pretty much on the cusp of the first and the second decan, or you can just say I'm in the second decan. But as a Cancer, most of my female friends and a lot of my male friends all my life have been Leo, and that's pretty much unbeknownst to me. Like, I didn't know their sign when we became friends. I've always been into astrology and planets and things like that. But getting deeper into astrology, as I was getting older, like in my late 20s, mid 20s, I had to look up and like, damn, all my closest girlfriends are Leos, and I grew up with a lot of boys, so I didn't always hang around a lot of girls until like high school. I had one really good friend in middle school. She was a Sagittarius. And then at least I had about 3 or 4 girls I was really tight with in high school. You could say like sisters, like best friends, and they all were Leos. And I think a lot of that has to do with Leos. They like that attention. They like to play the front, and a lot of times Cancer likes to play the back and likes attention like on the low. We don't always just like to jump out there. So I'm really it didn't blow my mind, but I was so happy to hear Kelis finally speak. If you guys know, I'm just jumping right into this. Screw all the introductions, screw all of that stuff. Check out my website, check out my readings. I'm going to try to get May readings up. Check out all of that shit. But let's get right to this Leo and Virgo, because I know quite a few Virgos, and I have this, like I made a Pisces video, a Pisces versus Pisces about Tamar and K. Michelle, but it was long and I went in every direction. So I didn't post it. I might post it. But I talked about, what point was I about to make that I talked about in that? Oh, I talked about how I feel like certain tarot readers might have a bias. Like, you may notice their readings are bad towards certain signs because of how they feel about a sign. And I try not to do that, because we're human. I don't care if you read tarot, you're psychic, you're intuitive, empath, whatever. You may have bad experiences, especially if you're into astrology and you know the signs. You may have certain signs where the energy just doesn't mesh with yours. So you have had bad experiences. So when you do tarot readings, that may come out in the tarot readings. I try not to do that with my tarot readings, but there are certain signs. There's no sign that I dislike. I mean, if generally, I can pretty much get along with anybody. And if you read enough about Cancer, I've seen that a lot. Like, I definitely see the posts where like nobody likes Cancer. But I think if you truly know Cancer and you study it, you'll realize actually Cancer can pretty much get along with any sign of the zodiac. There's no sign that I just don't like or can't get along with. But Virgo is one of those signs where I just be giving them the side eye. So I don't have any dislike for Virgos. I'm definitely like Virgos, but I just give them the side eye because I don't know what be going on upstairs in that brain of theirs sometimes. That Mercury be working overtime. Give me a Gemini. But anyway, so we're going to jump right into it. With Kelis being a Leo, I mean, you can't even call this biased. There's no bias because everybody fucking loves Nas. And if you were a 80s baby, 70s baby, not that she was out in those times, but just that would have been your formative years, not formative, that would have been your teenage years or your young adult years when she was popular. But if you're 70s, 80s, 90s babies, you've pretty much love Kelis too. And if you don't love her music, she has a different style. No, she isn't an Aretha Franklin who can blow, but there's certain artists who, like almost like a T-Boz from TLC. They do what they do well. You know what I mean? So because they have this unique kind of voice. So I love Kelis' first album was a banger all the way through, every song, no skips. She is very creative. If you know any Leos rules the fifth house. The fifth house has to do with kids, creativity, and things of that nature. If you know any Leos, a lot of Leos are very creative, and when they do something, they do it very well. So even if you didn't like Kelis' music, I know the men loved Kelis. I know the dude I was with at the time, he loved Kelis and Trina. And women love Kelis too because we dug her style. I mean, even if you ain't like her music, she's the shit. I mean, I'm not a fan of anybody, but if there is anybody who is just consistent every time you see them, I mean, they could have on a trash bag and their hair could be like in little punk rocker spikes, but they fucking look the bomb. That's just Kelis. Like Kelis and Erykah Badu are my two. They can do anything, put on anything, and it just looks good. They were just blessed with those talents. And I find that with a lot of Leos. I don't care what they wear, what they do. It's just that courageous, big spirited, center of attention lion just comes through. And I really, I love my Leos. That's just all I could say. And as far as Nas, and I always thought about Kelis. Okay, it's not my business. I'm not necessarily an entertainment blogger. I do these so we can talk about the sun signs in these videos. But I always was just like secretly wishing, damn, Kelis, say what happened with Nas. And if you look at Nas, Kelis was like the last, I guess, serious relationship that we all know about. So a lot of women have, in their back of their minds, at least I know a lot of women that I know are like, what's Nas's deal? Something ain't right with Nas because he can't keep a woman. You don't really hear about, I'm sure he fucks plenty of bitches. He has plenty of girlfriends, but you just don't hear about it unless it's somebody popular, like a Nicki Minaj, who was that relationship even for real? Or was it just a little quick, I mess with you for a minute and it's over? So I think a lot of women have been giving Nas the side eye. Not that there's anything wrong with the man being single and this, that, and the other. Nothing's fucking wrong with it, but you might have issues. Just like if there's a single woman, I mean, she just might not want to be in a relationship. She might not want to be with a man. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but there's some kind of hang up that you're stuck on where you don't want to be with anybody. So I would always think, my girlfriends and I would always think, like, what's Nas's deal? What did he do to Kelis? Because she's never said anything about their relationship. If you guys know Leos in your life, they can be very private like that when it comes to the public, which is funny because if you know Leos as well, they aren't private if they know you personally. So if you and a Leo are friends, if you've been friends for a long time, and if you're family, they will tell you all their fucking business, shit you don't even want to know, because they like to talk. Leos, it's kind of like that griot that the kids gather around and the stories get told and passed down from generations and generations. Leos like to manipulate those kind of situations. They like people. They like conversations. They like chats. They like interesting get-togethers. They like to discuss topics. Leos like to know what you think. I have a Leo guy friend. And we used to work together. He's married. Really, really cool guy. That's my buddy. We hang out and stuff like that. And he always comes with question of the day. And it's usually about the sexes, like men and women. Hey, Leo rules that fifth house of creativity and all that kind of stuff. Children, sex, fun. So, they're good in that area. But anyway, if you know a Leo personally, they will tell you all of their business because they like to talk. They have to talk. They like to get your opinion. They're going to do what the hell they want to do anyway. They ain't going to listen to you for shit. But they definitely like to talk. And if you're close to them, you will know all of their business. Shit you didn't even care to know. I used to have a Leo friend. I'm going to basically say she's a sister. Two of the closest people, like I said, to me when I was in my teenage years and early adult years were Leos. And, you know, they would sometimes, when one Leo friend would call me like and tell me stuff, I'd be like, damn girl, you could have kept that to yourself. Because it's just how they are sometimes. So I was not waiting, but in the back of my mind, just because I'm the intuitive, damn near might be, maybe don't want to be psychic motherfucker that I am. When you just have common sense, not like a lot of these males who their mind is really simple. It's like from point A to point B, but it didn't see the trees and the scenery and the details of what was going on between point A and point B. And I'm pretty much getting because of all this fuckery between the sexes that's going on, that's how men's brains work. They see point A to point B, but they don't see anything between that. They didn't see the stop signs. They didn't see the buildings. They didn't see the trees. They didn't see the bikers riding by. They didn't see the people walking on the side of the street. But us as females, and especially people that are, and then it just supersedes being a male or a female when you're intuitive, where you really can read the nuances and the gray and what people think are black and white situations. Nothing's ever just black or white. So, as a woman, I know that something happened in that relationship that was out of the norm because, number one, they weren't getting along, but she never trashed him or spoke bad about him in the public, which means it had to be something. And again, if you know a Leo does not mind telling people close to them their business, but a Leo does not like outsiders in their business. And that's where Leo is a little similar to Cancer. Like Cancer, we draw these lines. You're either in our circle or you're outside of our circle. And if you're outside of our circle, we ain't got nothing for you. We ain't checking for you. Nothing like that. We only really give a fuck or come out our shell for people who we love, which is our close-knit circle of friends and family. Leo is similar to that. Although they have no outer issues with being front and center and being on the stage and being around people. They don't really necessarily, of course they can have confidence issues inside, but they don't really display confidence issues on the outside. King of the jungle, the lion. Even if they're insecure about something, they're not going to show you that. But they don't like people in their business either. They won't want everybody to know what's going on. Like, again, my guy friend, him and his wife were out one night and they had been having like an argument at home. I guess she had an attitude about something, and they were at like a happy hour with his colleagues, so just with people who were not his inner circle. And the wife had so they already had came. I guess the wife had a little attitude. So when they were at the dinner, she had kind of cracked slick and said something, and it was putting their personal business out there a little bit, and it wasn't anything like over the top rude or just nasty or anything. She just probably kind of showed some emotion and said something, and he's married to a Sagittarius. He's a Leo. That he didn't feel comfortable with what his colleagues knowing, because that's not his inner circle. Trust me. He has no issue talking to me about things that go on with him and his wife. Whatever little comment she made, I had already known it. And he'll talk to us because we'll go out. It'll be several guys, several girls, and we'll all talk. So he doesn't have an issue with his personal circle knowing. But when his wife said that in front of his colleagues and people that weren't his private circle, he was fucking pissed. I hadn't seen him sort of, like, he wasn't foaming he wasn't huffing and puffing and foaming at the mouth pissed, but he had an attitude. And if you know Leos can be a get back sign. I realize Pisces is a get back sign. Pisces is a tit for tat sign. Leo is a tit for tat sign, because Leo is like, well, whatever you can do, I can do it better. You want to go toe to toe? We're going to go toe to toe. Even the women, even the freaking women are like that. Like, I'm just trying to get it all out about Leo. I can't finish a thought. Sorry, guys, if I'm skipping around. It's just a topic I know. These are signs I know a lot about. And then them as artists, I know a lot about them as artists, because my prime, well, my prime is now, but in my younger teens and 20s, they were who I listened to. I mean, I had Kelis, that Kaleidoscope. I bumped that shit like every day. Like I said, I'm not a fan of anybody, but her style, and usually I feel like that about Leos. Her style was beyond this world. She didn't come from here. She's from another planet. And she's beautiful. So anyway, so he was upset about, the wife saying something. So he wasn't huffing and puffing, fuming mad, but he was like, oh, okay, well, I'm going out tonight. And he like called me and some other people. He like, yo, let's go out. Let's hit this place. I ain't even going home no time soon. Like, he was going to show his wife a little something. He ain't like that shit. Like, and usually if his wife do something, he kind of get over it. But that time when she was telling his business, no, you don't do that. So, Leos don't really like their personal business out there with people they do not know and trust. Because the big thing to a Leo, and I've had a Leo tell me this, and guys, what's really funny is, I'm telling you this, it's really funny to me, and it's amazing to me when I hear either astrologers or people who think they know astrology and tarot, or I actually hear a Leo or Cancer themselves say they don't get along with Leo and Cancer. I'm like, well, is it because my ascendant is Leo? Is it because of the deacon I'm born in? Because when I look around, like I said, this wasn't calculated. I looked back like, damn, everybody I fuck with like that is a Leo. My first, I guess what you could say, a high school sweet. I was gonna say my first love, high school, what you thought was love. High school sweetheart was a Leo. I mean, I didn't know that at the time. I mean, I knew once we got together, but when I had a big crush on him, I never knew. And when he was crushing on me, I never knew he was a Leo. So, that I was saying that to say a Leo guy who tries to talk to me now, because Leo guys, I don't know what it is, but they are always attracted to me, and I'm not into them. Make no mistake about it. Leos, for the most part, to me, are fine. Like I said, they're a good-looking sign. If I had to pick the two best-looking signs in the zodiac, it would be Leo and Libra. And that's just straight off some superficial shit. But Leo guys try to get with me a lot. But I don't do Leo guys because, number one, we make awesome friends. And number two, unless he's coming from a really high place, I know Leos tend to like that attention. They tend to like that sort of encouragement, you putting them on a pedestal, and they can be players and cheaters and things like that, which every man can. I'm just saying, Leo with that charisma, that they're definitely going to attract the opposite sex, and both of the men and women tend to maintain male-female relationships. So if you know a Leo male, you might notice they have a lot of female friends that are truly just friends. Like, he ain't sleeping with all of those friends. I ain't saying he might not somewhere in the back of his mind want to, because you guys, if you've listened to me before, or I don't know if I've ever really talked about it, but I don't truly believe males and females can be friends. Okay, guys, have common sense. That's generally, yes, there is a 5%, 10% of people who truly have nothing but friendships with the opposite sex. But I always believe in the back of somebody's mind, somebody liked somebody, which is how they became friends, and the other party just isn't with it, or somebody wants to get with somebody, even if they've never fucking said it. So usually that's just a dynamic I believe that exists between men and women. That's why and even with me saying, okay, well, he's my friend, the thing is, he's married. It's not like that. Who knows? Somewhere in the back of his mind, he could be interested. I'm not interested in him, but he would never, you know what I'm saying? As long as people don't act on that and ain't no boundaries, it's fine. Men and women can be friends, but I will stick with my mind frame that somebody always likes somebody in men and women friendships. But anyway, so Leo's operating from a lower place. That can be the deal. And where, like with me and my high school sweetheart, when we broke up, I'll always have, like, it wasn't like no deep love, because I was 16 and we were together for a year. But the thing about it is, I will always fuck with a Leo like that. Like, there's no hard feelings between him and I. But I noticed one of the things, even back then being young, because he was older than me. He was like 3 years older than me. I was a freshman and he was a senior. So after senior year, he wasn't in my school anymore. But I had a lot of friends that he knew and lived around his way. And one of my friends who I was really tight with, I used to always hang around where he lived at. So, and she was real cool with him and things like that. And that's kind of how the whole thing kind of got hooked up. But one of the issues even back then that he would say is, you don't give me any attention. Like he would be, because Cancers, we be in our own world. And I don't know if this is all Cancer women, but as nurturing as I can be to people, as overbearing and mothering as I can be, there's a lot of ways that I may tune a partner out and they may feel unsatisfied. And I'm realizing these things about myself as I went through a time of being single. But his complaint was, you don't give me attention. And for Leo, that's a big fucking issue. He was hot. He was a jock. And he used to be at the basketball court, or he would always play like I said, he was a jock. He played football for sure. I think he played basketball too. So he would always be at the basketball court and things like that. And the girls, back in the day, the girls go to the basketball court. They want to watch guys play basketball. And I would never go because I'm not tripping. That's why I say it's a lie when they say Cancers are jealous. I would say we're probably more possessive, if even that. I'm jealous if I think that you might not want me, or you like somebody else better. I might get a little jealous over that, but I'm not now, nor have I ever been jealous over my man. Because I believe a person's going to do what they want to do. There's no point of me hawking you, tracking you down. But I'm starting to realize maybe they like that shit and it makes them feel important. Just how females oh, he's jealous. Oh, he really loved me. I don't fucking know. But I wouldn't go and be up at the basketball court. I would be chilling with my friends or doing this or doing that. Okay, hit me when you come from the basketball court. I'll come through. We spend some time together. But his thing was, all these other girls up there at the basketball court and you're never there. So, I was too young to be trying to even hear that bullshit. So anyway, a Leo guy that tries to talk to me now. So those are my reasons why I don't do Leo guys. If I ever met a Leo guy that had his mind and his spirituality all the way right, I think we would be freaking great together. But because it's two strong, powerful, creative signs, probably the best signs in the zodiac. Sorry, guys, it's just me being biased. Anyway, a Leo guy that has had a crush on me for a long time, but I had a crush on his brother who was a Taurus, and we ended up kind of coming across each other now again today in these days in the social media age. And he told me when we were talking about, okay, well, what is it that you like? What are you looking for? Or what's important to you? And I'm not really considering him because he's younger, but he has a lot of good stuff going for himself, but he's just cool to talk to. Chat with here and there. So he was like, trust and loyalty is the most important thing to me. So I think that has a lot to do with what I was saying. Leos will tell their business to people who are close to them, but not people they don't trust. So for a long time, I was like, damn, Kelis ain't gonna say shit, because I know how Leos do. So something with them went really bad, but she wasn't talking. I think she said it's been 9 years and she has not said anything. So that's how women's intuition, or just fucking common sense, tells you something happened more in that relationship than just, unreconcilable differences, we're going to split because we can't get along. There was something that broke them to where they don't even like each other, or somebody doesn't like each other anymore. So I knew something happened. And I was like, well, damn, Nas ain't been with no women, and is he really gay? Because, we start thinking that, what's going on? Because it's not like you hear a lot that he's just going through women enjoying a single life, but then if they fucking too many women, they gay, we be thinking they gay too. Males, y'all ain't slick. We be knowing. So I was like, damn, what's Nas's deal? Is he just, in his bag? I know Virgos can be in that bag sometimes. Virgos, which is similar to Cancer. They say Cancer and Virgos make good couples, but I will fucking pass. I'll pass on that shit there. And Virgo is another sign. They be on my ass, but I make a joke. Like I said, I like Virgos. I just notice certain behavior, and I always make a joke that Virgos are crazy. Virgo men are crazy, and women too. And I've probably said it about every fucking sign, and I mean crazy in very specific ways that are specific to that sign. But I fucking run from Virgo dudes. I run and I hide. So, I was just thinking, like, what's Nas's deal? There's a deal with Nas. We just don't know what it is because he's a Virgo. So a lot of shit is on the inside, and it's very probably self-sabotaging and very self-judgmental and very probably torturous on the self, which makes a lot of sense when she talked about Nas's drinking, because I can totally relate to the things Virgo goes through, like on a self level, a self-confidence level, how I feel about me level a lot of times, even if you don't see it on the outside, what they're going through on the inside. So, a lot of women was always wondering what's Nas's deal. So now that Kelis is speaking out, it really, really makes a lot of sense. And even as a female, even though I like, I have a love for Kelis, I also have a love for Nas, and I'm not a biased female. If a woman is doing a man wrong, she's just doing him wrong. And I know a lot of times men and women can get very spiteful, especially when kids are concerned, money, alimony, child support if you were married, child support if you weren't. So things can get very dirty and nasty in those situations that bring certain characteristics out of a person that really isn't even them. But I really love Nas too. So I was like, well, wow, she's really sticking in for his money. And she's married now with a whole nother kid. Why is this drama going back and forth between her and Nas? And it's because Nas is mad and is going to be forever mad. And Kelis is not going to take the bullshit. She's a Leo. Okay, so if you do not understand what is going on, for all these fucking simp ass men, simp ass niggas that's in these comments on these videos talking about, oh, she's coming out now because she's trying to get more money, or she's doing this and she's doing that. No, she's fucking not backing down to Nas, and they're in a tit for tat type of situation. That's why she's doing what she's doing, and that's why he's doing what he's doing, because he fucking hates her. Like she's not lying. He hates her. And this is what I see. And I'm telling you, I have a friend who's a Leo. She has a child by a Cancer guy, immature Cancer guy. And like I said, Leos, they're the kings of the jungle. They're the lions, the kings of the jungle. They're very gregarious. They are very, I'm going to protect you. I got this. If I got to get up off this throne, it's going to be some problems. Even Leo women have that spirit. If you have ever known a Leo woman, been around a Leo woman, you know that. Like, a Leo woman is the one who's going to fight with you. A Leo woman is the one who's going to fight for you. A Leo one is the one that's going to stand up to your bully for you and fight your fight that is not their fight. A Leo woman is a woman who believes she can do anything a man can do. A Leo woman is a woman who must be respected by her partner, and she's going to come to the table with a certain amount of headstrongness. Not saying there aren't submissive Leos, not saying there aren't Leo women who don't get walked over top of. Again, we're talking general. So please take things with a grain of salt and use your common sense. So I know a Leo, same situation, because of how things get handled. And I knew this the moment, and I told my sister this before I even watched the whole Kelis interview. And I just get on everybody's nerves with astrology, especially hers. She's an Aquarius. So I just saw a clip. It was like maybe a Shade Room clip or a blog clip. So the heart and the meat and the potatoes of the interview, they didn't show. But even when I saw that little clip, I mean, you're talking probably less than a minute, less than 2 minutes. And it wasn't of the best parts of the interview that really told the details. I told my sister, I said, she went toe to toe with Nas. I said, if Nas hit her and he got violent, drunk, which I totally believe for a Virgo, because a Virgo has that in them. And a Virgo can be very crass, not know what to say out their mouth. They cannot know boundaries, and they can overstep boundaries if you're dealing with a lower level Virgo. And if you're dealing with a lower level Leo, who isn't aware of their behavior and can't control it, they're gonna go toe to toe. So if you've got one of those strong Leo women, you can't be a man up in a Leo woman face threatening her or talking shit to her, because she gonna do the same thing back. And she gonna fight you, and she gonna say, bring it on. You ball that fist up and you about to punch her, she gonna stick her face out like, do it, I dare you. Because I'm gonna punch your ass back. That's Leo women. A lot of Leo women, that's how they are. And that's how my girlfriend was. And her and this Cancer, of course, we men, we try with y'all, but a lot of times y'all do all this complaining about women, but y'all don't self-reflect enough on y'all behavior. And I think if both sexes did that, we could nip a lot of this shit in the bud, because everybody is just confused. Y'all dudes out here now, y'all want to learn how to be players, listening to these dating coaches. Women, they don't want to have no feelings, they want to be men now. Everybody's fucked up. It's just, and I'm so glad I can sit back and not and really see the through the matrix of all of this bullshit. But she kind of went through some of the same things with her ex, her daughter's father, and he really kind of hated her guts after that. Just because Leos are not gonna let you see them weak. I don't care what they go through, what issues they go through, what problems they have, even if they aren't perfect, you're not going to break their spirit. And I think that's what may make a lot of partners hate a Leo. Because another thing about a Leo is, because it's very different between me and my Leo girlfriends. I mean, you're talking over 20 years of friendship. Leos will leave your ass. They're not a Cancer. They ain't sticking around for 5, 10, 15, 20 years in a terrible fucking relationship just because they have some sort of sentimental or heartstring attachment to you. Leo is going to fucking tell you deuces if it's just to a point where they don't want to do it anymore. So they have no problem saying, fuck you, I'm gone, and holding their head up while they do it. And I think that's why a lot of the partners may get to a point where it's like they fucking hate Leo, because they know the Leo ain't fucking with you like that no more. And I think that's a lot of what Nas's hate is towards Kelis, because he probably thought she would stick through a lot of the bull. They would have loved of each other's lifetime or whatever the case, and they would have made it through those situations. But the Leo, especially when their kids come into situations, I notice with Leo women, they might stick with a little bit more of the bullshit, but they are not a Cancer, they're not a Taurus, they're not one of those, they're not a Virgo, they're not one of those signs that's going to stick with you for a long time through your bullshit. They'll ride it out for a minute, but then they're out of there, which mad big ups to Leo for that. That's something I could take and learn from Leo, but something I have taken and learned from Leo. But when they have kids that come into the picture, then it is really a wrap. A lot of women will move on from relationships if it's not healthy, because again, Leo loves kids. They rule that house of kids, and you will find a lot of Leo mothers have strong connections to their kids, even if it's more like a friend connection and not so much a child parent. Leos really love kids. So, which is rightfully so with that 5th house. So, with Kelis and Nas, I figured he hated her because whatever happened, she kind of put that whole situation behind him, and she'll still want to be cool. And sometimes that kills people when you're not upset and you're not mad. And a lot of Leos are forgiving. Leos is not a sign that I would say holds a grudge, very forgiving. And even if they go through a lot of bullshit with their partner, at least the women, they could still put it aside and be cool for the child. But a lot of people, especially if you love somebody or you're in love with somebody and you still want to be with them, that they hate that shit because you're not with them and they can't get to you like that. So I think that's a lot of reasons why some of their partners may end up where the Leo is the female, where, the male they were with kind of hates their guts, which they don't really hate him. Hate him is just a fucking exaggerated, strong form of love, but a disillusioned form of love. Because if you spend that time on somebody, you got to love something about them. But, so that's why he probably hated her. And with the Virgo and Leo nature, reading throughout astrology, typically they say Virgo and Leo don't make good compatibility. They don't make good couples. And I really don't agree with a lot of general sun sign astrology, but I could pretty much agree with that one. I could see how this could go bad. And then when she talked about, because the bottom line is everything she said in the interview was the truth. It was her version of the truth, but I'm sure it was very close to the version of the actual truth, just from what I know about Leos and just from what I know about Virgos. So talking about the Virgo for a little bit. So my whole point about Kelis was, and Leos like to party. They like to have fun. I mean, my Leo girlfriend, She like to go out when she gonna be the first one on the dance floor. They don't have no problem strutting their stuff, and they like a good time. They really like music as well. Leos are really into music. Some of them can sing, have good musical voices. So, which I could see, I mean, it is very, very talented. With the sun kind of ruling that sign, how could you not be? So, with the Virgo and the Leo. Virgos can hold a lot in. Leos are very expressive. So if a person, more specifically a Virgo, more specifically talking about Nas, has been through a lot of things in their life or certain traumatic experiences, they may hold certain self-doubts and self-sabotaging behaviors and certain insecurities on the inside. Virgo is a sign who can be very insecure on the inside. So if you want to talk about some Virgos, we can talk about Michael Jackson. Fucking amazing person, but very insecure on the inside. Hence, all of the skin. Damn that vitiligo. Hence his appearance. You can tell. Like Little Kim of Cancer. Like I just said, those are the things that Virgo and Cancer have in common. I could be Halle Berry and I will still never feel good enough or pretty enough. That is just something I think a lot of Cancers deal with, and Virgos as well. So it doesn't matter. It has nothing to do with how you look and how pretty you really are. It's just a deep-seated thing inside that you come into this world dealing with. And I know, Virgos had that issue too. And even Beyonce. You look at Beyonce and she's a beautiful girl and just extremely talented. But you can tell that there's some insecurity inside because of the level of a perfectionist and this inhuman persona she puts on. Like, I'm sure the people closest to her know the real Beyonce, but I know there's something there and there's insecurities there because the image she puts on, if you know a Virgo, Beyonce is probably a totally different way in her personal life. That can do no wrong, pristine, not a hair out of place Virgo you see in her videos, concerts, songs, performances. Oh, when she home, she probably like to drink, smoke, talk shit, all that. Be a little ratchet. That's Virgo for you. So what I've noticed with Virgo men, a lot of times Virgo men, they will be one, and I noticed this with Pisces? I don't know, but I've noticed more than one Virgo man who has been in the military. Virgos are very outgoing, so they get around. They're ruled by Mercury like Gemini, so they always sort of have to be doing something. You'll find Virgos may be involved in several sort of social circles, or they have things in their life that just keep them on a move. Like you may find Virgos as teachers. A Virgo guy who used to have a pretty big crush on me, but like I said, I run from Virgo, so I just had was just in the friend zone, and it ain't going down like that. He was a teacher, and he coached like several teams at his schools. A lot of time, because Virgo is the sign of service. Teacher is a service sign. So I'm willing to bet money that you'll find a lot of Virgos that are teachers. So he was a teacher, but he was involved in coaching a lot of the sports, kind of being there for kids that may have been going through issues. So Virgo is a sign where they are indebted to service to other people. So they're like on the move, and they're a very analytical, organized, and smart sign. But a lot of times they can have some area of a Virgo's life will be chaotic. And I probably said this in my Virgo videos before. I've known Virgos where, like Beyonce, everything is pretty much pristine on the outside. They have their appearance together. They seem like they had their life together. When they bring their lunch to work, it's all in compartmentalized containers. The peas are over here. The sandwich is broken down into 3 different compartments with the bread in one, the meat in the other, mayo packets. And, they can be very analytical and very mercurial when it comes to certain things. But if you pay really close attention, or some Virgos, there'll be an area of their life that is just completely out of fucking whack. You know what I'm saying? And talking specifically about Nas, you see this image. Virgos are very image conscious. That is a person, you know how when they say on social media, Don't believe everything you see, because the very people that post pictures that they're so happy and all of that are the very people who are behind the scenes are the most unhappy in their relationships in their life. Virgo is a sign that you want to always keep that in mind. Don't believe what you see on the surface with a Virgo, because a Virgo is only going to show you the image they want you to see. So like a lot of people are surprised about this Nas thing that Kelis is saying it. I fucking have a brain, so I'm not surprised. But a lot of people are surprised because that is not the image Nas shows. You would have never thought that. If she had never came out and said that, you would not have thought that about Nas, unless you're an astrologer and you pull this chart, or you know Virgo really well and you're willing to take a stab at that. But that's why it's surprising to people, because like I said about Beyonce, they want to have they portray a certain image to the public, but they have certain insecurities and self-doubts on the inside. So Nas was portraying an image to the public, but when Kelis talked about how he would drink and he would go into these blackout things, so he might have hit her, and I don't get the sense that it was, okay, Nas is a woman beater for the sake of being a woman beater. I don't get that. Not that we want to make excuses or we want to make distinctions, but I believe Nas, like she said, there were too much drinks and the energy between the two were bad, because the Leo woman is not gonna back down. My Leo friend has gotten physical with guys, and I have to say, this is something else we have in common. A Cancer woman, we ain't gonna really back down either. We ain't as quick to talk the shit and the tough bravado that Leo women will talk. But if you push us to a certain point, then we're going to put our hands on you. We ain't going to ask no questions. And I don't care if you're a male, female, who you are. I'm a female. I'm a girl. I'm probably like an Aaliyah kind of girl, like a little tomboyish little girl. He grew up with boys. Most of my family is guys. 2 brothers who are a year older than me, and then another brother who's like almost 10 years older than me. So, and my father, very close daddy's girl. So I never had a problem, because me and my cousins, like my older brother who's an Aquarius, used to make me and my 2 younger brothers, the brothers that are a year older than me, the Libras, fight all the time. And I used to beat their ass until they got old enough to beat mine. I never had an issue approaching boys. Like I can remember in elementary school, I had only fought like one girl. But if a guy came out the side of his mouth to me, number one, because I had a dad and I saw how my dad treated my mom. So you don't disrespect a woman. And then being a baby girl of the family, the men treated me a certain way and they were very protective. So I always felt like if a man was disrespectful to me or he talked shit, I'm just going to go upside your head. So I've fought, I put my hands on my fair share of guys. That is not something I can say I'm proud of, but I'm talking like elementary and middle school guys. So, well, elementary really. I've relapsed a few times in my grown adult life and my relationships. But thankfully the guys I've been with have never been with women beaters, and they know they fucking deserve that slap upside the head. But anyway, so with Virgos, it's an element that they hide. And I notice they try to be so controlled and so analytical, and they are very judgmental of their own selves, that you will find at some point a Virgo may spiral out of control. A lot of signs have drinking and drug problems. Okay? A lot of signs drink and do drugs. But you ever heard of like a functional drunk or functional drug addict? Some people do it like me. I drink, but it's socially, it's occasionally. 9 times out of 10, you won't find any alcohol in my house on a daily basis. And if I do drink alcohol, it's because friends came over or I went out to a bar or a happy hour. But I know how to balance that in my life. But there are certain signs where I find that they tend to have addictions. So Pisces is one, drug and alcohol. We all know that. Do I need to say more than Neptune and Jupiter? Neptune, all of that hazy, want to get lost in illusion bullshit, and Jupiter to just expand it and make it worse and really turn it into an addiction. And which is why I believe Cancers have certain addictions to foods and comforting things, because Jupiter is exalted here too, so it can expand certain issues that you have that may turn into addictions. But Virgo is another one. I've met several, and you guys, if you listen to me, you know I do my astrological research. I talk to people. I compile The Research of the Zodiac by Real Life Experience. And several Virgo men I have known have had a drinking issue. Either they have had a drinking issue, Leo as well, guys. Oh, it is so much I could say about Kelis and Nas. I need to make y'all pay for this video because I'm giving y'all fucking gems about the signs. If you wanted to know about a fucking Leo or a Virgo, you need to listen to this video. So, Leo is another one who likes to drink and can have drinking problems. Those are three. I'm going to put the Pisces out the equation because we're not talking about Pisces right now. But Virgo and Leo, I know several, meaning more than one, more than two Virgo males and Leo females and men who have drinking issues or are very, very partial to their drinks. Okay, they have a tolerance for alcohol that a lot of people don't have. You know, I always say when I see motherfuckers drinking Amsterdam, you're fucking drunk. If you can drink Amsterdam, bitch, you drink. Okay. Anyway, so Virgo, they can definitely do that, and I think it's to hide and to mask a lot of pain. And then you will catch a Virgo in a moment. So you thought you were dealing with this. You see this person there calm on the outside. All that composure is together. And then they fucking snap. And that's Virgo. And that could be Virgo women or men. Because they have a hyperness to them. And it's so funny. Like, think of the hyperness of Gemini, right? Virgo kind of has that hyperness. It's almost like a Tourette's. But it's under a very calm and cool exterior. It's like a motherfucker with Tourette's. You know what I mean? And if you aren't aware, especially if you're dealing with a Virgo that has certain substance issues, you might get a side of that person that is violent, likes to fight. Like, okay, I'll say this about a Virgo. Another Virgo who had a thing for me. I mean, he's another one. Like I said, my tolerance is I'll tolerate certain things, but after that point, I feel like people don't get words. They need to just be knocked upside the head. So it was a Virgo I used to work with, and he had a crush on me or whatever the case, which means nothing, ladies. Please don't think I'm full of myself. Men don't have a crush on every woman they see. So he had a crush on me. But his crush was to the point, he knew I wasn't interested in him, but his crush was to the point where he would follow me. So if I was about to go on break, and I peep everything. Cancers, we might not let you know we peep everything, but we peep everything. So I would go on a break. And when you're going on break, you would have to you can kind of tell when a person is preparing to go to break. So I could see him from across the room looking at me about to go on break. And then, so I'm like, all right, he looking. Please just let him leave me alone because I don't like to be bothered. Like I said, that's another thing with Cancer. If you're not my inner circle, I don't like to be bothered. I had people that I fuck with like that. They could follow me any day of the week. But if I'm just cool with you, because we cool with a lot of people, but I don't fuck with you like that, get off my wheels, get off my heels. So I would kind of look out the corner of my eye. Here he comes behind me. So he had done this like several times. But, I make my escape. I go somewhere else. And he would put his arm around me. I throw his arm off from being put around me and just like dodge him out or duck him out or get lost, get missing. And then he'd be looking for me. He'd go back and go to work because he couldn't be gone for long because it wasn't his fucking break time. But one day, this Virgo... And like I said, he was cool. I didn't have no issues with him, but he had that little bit of Virgo crazy. And if your spidey senses ain't on point, you'll miss that Virgo crazy because it comes in a very put together outside package. So, I always had that in the forefront of my mind. And I just would watch behaviors that he would do. He was going through issues with his mom. His mom had cancer. And he did not know how to deal with those issues. So he would drink. He would be at work drinking in his car. He had an alcohol problem. He was fucking drunk. And because the jaw was so laxed, he never got in trouble. But we would know he's out in his car drinking and smoking at work. Who does that? Like when you're not 16, 17, 18. Who does that? You don't do that when you're adult and you need your money. So, he had an alcohol problem. And this would be like an everyday thing. And, one day, he came up to me. I don't know if he had been drinking or not, but he just had this thing where he could not keep his hands off me. So he came up to me and he started rubbing his fingers through my hair. And at the time, I had my hair out. I wear my hair natural. and I had it curled, but I had like a little piece, like a track in the front to make my bangs longer or something. And he came, imagine if you're getting a head massage. He came and put his fingers through my hair like he was massaging my head. And I didn't, the track wasn't glued in. It was like one small piece just to make my bang a little thicker. And I think I had bobby pinned it in. And when I say his hands almost touched my track and knocked it out of place, when I say I turned around, and you know how some old lady swats somebody with their purse? When I say I turned around and let him have it, and I told him if he don't go to his motherfucking seat, if he come back over here, I'ma punch him, I'ma bang him in his face for real, and we gonna be in here fighting. Like, that's how annoyed I was with him. And that's how you got to give it to them sometimes so they get it. But what I'm saying that to say is, I've known Virgos that are drunks, and Virgos get with the shits sometimes. You know what I mean? And he probably would have hit me back because I could see that he has a temper. So I guess because he like me, he just got the point. He ain't say nothing back. He ain't get smart. He ain't get nasty because I had to check him. So he went on about his business. But he ended up messing with another girl at the job. And I don't know if he had been drinking, but like the whole job kind of heard him go off on this girl one day. Like cussing her out, talking to her real nasty, calling her all kind of bitches and hoes. So, you know, Virgo can get really, really nasty despite what you think you may know of a Virgo and the men. And it does not matter if it's a woman. So I believe the things Kelis said when she said Nas was nasty and he put his hands on her. And let me tell you something else about a Virgo that can be hard to deal with. And this is why I would never deal with Virgo men, because I've dealt with earth signs before and I know earth signs have this quality. I won't so much say Capricorn, even though I'm sure they do. I'm sure they do. But I haven't dealt with a lot of Capricorns in relationships. But Virgo and Taurus definitely have this quality, and Virgo probably more so than Taurus. They can be very critical of their partners. They can be supportive. They can tell you you're beautiful, but they're going to critique you to the same manner, if not more, that they compliment you. And realize when I talk about negative behavior, I'm talking about the signs when they're operating from their lower nature. So a Virgo who's not operating from their higher nature, that's how they can be. So a Virgo can be very critical of you. And I've had Virgos, like another Virgo who had a crush on me. That's why I had to friend zone him, because I'm just not with the Virgo, dating Virgo shit. We were like playing. So, you know, you have a little banter, you playing a little bit, but they take it too far. Like he had said something like, suck my dick, or you don't, and he must not realize who he was fucking talking to. I was like, pull it out, because I'm going to kick you right in that shit. You know what I mean? Like they can take it too far to make you really want to get with them. And I think that's what I'm saying about the other Virgo. It's cool and all, but their mouth can really take you there. So I believe every word of when Kelis was saying. They probably was getting drunk, because like I said, Leos like to drink too. I've known Leos with drinking part, and they like to party. So that's they were living a wild and crazy life. They would get drunk, they would party, they would do all of that shit, and then they probably would get nasty and belligerent to each other, because the Leo ain't backing down. They going toe to toe. If you're going to talk shit, they going to talk shit with you. And then the Virgo got violent. I believe it. And what I was going to say about Virgo in the military, I know Virgos who like that combat. I know several of them in the military, and they like it. Like, it's not like I'm in the military and I want to get out. It's like I'm in the military and I want to go back. I can't wait. So, you know, there's a violent element of them that they like. You know what I mean? So they're not afraid of like that combat. They're not afraid of that fight. You know what I mean? So just to say, I don't see it taking much for them, especially in an alcohol or drug-induced state, to put their hands on somebody if it was a situation that was really, really heated. So even though it was her version of the truth, I do really, really believe what Kelis was saying. And I believe it's a 50-50 thing. And yeah, Nas was wrong. But I know Kelis knows her part that she played. She was violent as well herself. And I believe everything about the situation that Kelis is saying. I'm telling you, I see so much of Kelis and some of the close friends. One in particular, close friend I have that is a Leo, beautiful girl who's been through some of the same things in her relationship, just be down to the T of the behavior. So I really truly do believe the things they're saying. And let's clear this up. And I should have said this in the beginning of the video because it's getting very fucking annoying. People talk about shit. You guys got to be careful to the blogs you listen to. Take shit with a grain of salt. All these dumbass men and stupid ass bitches who follow men and they have no brain and the men still dog them out. You know what I mean? Stand up for something, women. They keep talking about Kelis's husband is white. Her husband is not fucking white. He's Mexican or Latino. I believe he's of Latin descent. He looks like a Mexican or a Brazilian or something. So please, before you put that information out and try to say she's messing with a white man, get your facts straight because he's not white. And black women, if you're a black woman who is getting frustrated because you feel like black men don't want black women, fucking mess with men outside of your race. Me, I'm not with the white boy thing. Can't do it. Younger, when I didn't see color, yeah, I had a white boyfriend. He was my babysitter's son, fine little white boy all the girls liked, and he liked me. But that was in elementary school. I really didn't know, it wasn't, like you say, you learn color and the racial stigmas and racial climate of society as you get older. But I just can't do that now. But if you are into Afro-blooded or Afro Latinos, Puerto Ricans, Brazilians, ladies, please expand your horizons and fucking go for it. Okay? Please. There's more kinds of black than just the African black. Okay, so it's nothing against your race or your culture if you were to go mess with Latinos who are Afro descent. Okay? I'm not talking about the white European Spaniards and things like that. So anyway, her husband, he is not white. Let's clear the air. And let's clear the air that Virgo is very petty. And that is why they keep going back to court. And Leo ain't going to back down. So that's why they're going back and forth to court. That's why Kelis is fighting and she's not backing down. And Nas is doing the same thing because both of them are headstrong and nobody wants to be defeated. You know what I mean? And like Kelis said, I don't have the way he would fight me. I just don't have the power. I can't fight him like that. Like he's going to get nasty and he's going to want to see her hurt. He can't put that shit aside to say, yeah, I'm going to come over for Thanksgiving dinner. Or yeah, this is the custody arrangement. But I understand your mom had a stroke and might fucking die. So our son can come to see your mom just in case that happens. That is the fucking pettiness of Virgo. And I have a friend, just to give you an idea of how nasty Virgos can get with you sometimes. I have a friend back in the day who has a very close Virgo friend. And I'm not going to say the name of the sign because if people stumble across my video, I don't want a friend to think a friend was saying blah, blah, blah. I don't want any confusion. This is why I try to keep my page private from people I know. But a friend of a Virgo who were very tight with. If you know a lot of Virgos, you may find in Virgo's friends' social circles, Geminis, Aries, Sagittarius, Virgos can be very tight with those signs. So they were very tight with this particular sign. And this particular sign had an issue. I mean, tight for years, best friends. But the way the Virgo was talking to the other one day, she just really didn't appreciate it. And she's like, hold up. You talk to other people like that, but I'm your homegirl. Like, why are you talking to me like that? And she felt some kind of way, which was it wasn't surprising to me because she was talking to a Virgo, but it was just surprising that the Virgo had did it to her because they were such tight friends, over 10, 15, 20-year friendship. So that just goes you to show how Virgos can kind of get with their mouth. If you guys have watched I'm not a huge Beyonce fan. I think she's uber talented and I respect what she does as a talent, but I think she's kind of lame and corny, like the way she dresses and like things she does, like top off the Maybach verses that she spits. I think she tries to be a little too, I think Beyonce, I don't give a fuck where you grew up. You can grow up in a rich neighborhood. But if you hang around enough black people, and it's not even being hood, it's just being down. So it doesn't matter how much money you have. If you hang around enough black people who don't have their head up their asses, you're going to be down. I think Beyonce is down. She's from fucking Houston, Texas. But I think she goes too hard with trying to be a little hard sometimes. Not that I doubt that she is hard. Because if you watch her interviews and things, she got a real cocky mouth. She got a smart mouth. Like, she'll check you, and Virgos will do that. So make no mistake about it, Nas checked Kelis a few times, and their custody battles is because he is being petty as fuck, and she is going to try to do the same back, because a Leo they're not going to admit a defeat or anything like that. Like, a Leo is one who is going to stay in there and fight the battle. So that's why that's going back and forth between Nas and Kelis like this. And you have to have respect for a woman who did not, and I know a lot of women like this, and this is where, I mean, men just don't think. Guys want to come out and talk bad about her and say she's coming out now because of what's going on in court. Even if what she said now could help her court case, does that fucking mean what she's saying ain't the truth? And if nothing else, her truth, and you can tell. And also, if you know Leos, everybody lies, okay? Leos can be master manipulators, and you won't even know a Leo manipulated you until like years later and you think back on it. But even with a friend I have, a lot of Leos have a problem when people think they're lying sometimes, even if they are lying. They have a problem with that, and they like to kind of be seen as bringing the truth. I think Leos it makes so much sense being that their opposite sign is the Aquarius, the water bear. I think that is a direct reflection of Leo. Leos will put the truth or their version of the truth out there. They will speak the truth. Like I said, they stand up for bullies. They stand up for oppressed people. For instance, Dr. Umar Johnson is a Leo. Brother Polite, there's a lot of things we don't know about him, but if what he's saying is correct, he is a Leo. So you could see they're into these social causes. So a Leo is going to they have a thing about being known as a liar. And because I know the signs and I know I'm into astrology, I have to say that what Kelis said is not just her version of the truth. It's probably pretty close to the actual truth and what happened in the situation. So I'm just going to bring this to a close. This has been an hour. I am sorry this has been so long, but I could literally talk about Leos and probably Virgos too all day. There are just certain signs we have a lot of experience with. Like, besides me being a Pisces moon, I don't have a lot of people in my life who have been Pisces, but Leo and Virgo, yes, I had, especially Leo. And me personally, just to make it clear how I understand Virgo, I would have what I call a damn near stellium in Virgo. And if it's not a stellium, a lot of astrologists says it needs to be 4 or more planets. I don't subscribe to that theory. I believe if you have 3 or more planets in a sign, you have a stellium. And if you have 2 planets that are like big deal planets, which to me, which planet isn't a big deal? They are all important. But if you have 2 like planets, depending on what areas of life they control, I will also say you have very strong energy in that sign, and it could be a possible dominant factor in your chart. And I have Virgo like that in mind, and on top of all things, it would be in the 4th house. So it's just really the 4th house of Cancer, right? So it's just really interesting when it came to this topic. And because I know those 2 signs and I followed those 2 artists for years, Kelis doing that interview today was like God blessing the universe with a bit of a jewel. And I think women, if you haven't watched it, I think you should watch it, because there's a lot of bullshit. This kind of coincides with what's going on in this world right now, and the bullshit between men and women, more specifically black men and women, the lack of relationships, the lack of trust, the lack of faithfulness, the lack of, and I don't care, married means nothing to me. If you it almost means more to me if you can have a commitment without marriage and being forced by the law to do certain things. But people don't even know how to do that. And before you even get to relationships, we have a personal lack of responsibility, caring, love, compassion, which is why we can't have relationships. And it's a dog eat dog, and the men are out for themselves and the women are out for themselves, and never mind all of the STDs and things that kind of are interwoven into this whole big battle of the sexes. So I feel like this interview can definitely encourage a lot of women to stand in your own personal truths, to know you're awesome. I mean, people talk shit about Kelis, but again, if you know a Leo, she you can't knock them down. They rule by the sun. The sun gonna shine again. Kelis is a chef. She went to culinary school. She does, she's very active. Every now and again on her Instagram, you'll see her touring. I do follow her on Instagram. I've been following her on Instagram. Been following Nas as well. Like I said, I have nothing, even what Kelis is saying about Nas does not change my love and respect for Nas as the artist that he is. He has personal problems, and we all do. It doesn't mean he's any less great of a person or artist. And if she can get past it and still want to maintain some sort of cordiality or friendship with him, who am I to fucking judge him? That's not my situation. But guys, I'm going to bring this to a close because I literally am almost at an hour and 5 minutes, and I could talk about this for fucking ever. So I talked about it. I'm not going to edit it. I'm just going to post it. And I hope this gave you some insight into the Leo and Virgo relationship. And I might even have to do another one on this because I didn't write anything down. This was off the top of the dome. But I really would like to get into some of the more technical and intellectual aspects of that Leo and Virgo relationship as well, or those two signs. I'm going to start reposting some of my really old videos where I did the signs for dummies, which is funny because some of stuff, wasn't correct, but it all, what doesn't work out in a rinse comes out in a wrench. You know what I'm saying? So it all still makes a lot of sense, and a lot of it is still on point. But I thank you guys so much for checking out this video. And leave your comments and your feedback below. If you're a Virgo or you're a Leo, tell me what you think. If you've known Virgos and Leos, tell me what you think. If you grew up in hip-hop culture and were really into Nas and Kelis, tell me what you think. We all have a right to our thoughts and opinions. And that's just, before I go, I want to say this kind of like Kanye, the other Mercury ruled sign, Gemini. So you can see what I mean by how you might not see it sometimes on the surface with Virgo, but that Mercurial Geminian shit is in them. That's why Virgos and Geminis get along so good. I know many Virgo and Gemini very close friends. And when I bring that up, I'm talking about long-term things, not fly-by-night relationships or acquaintances. I'm talking about people who maintain long-term 10+ years bonds. I know a lot of Virgos and Geminis like that. So what I was going to say also is like with Kanye, everybody's getting on Kanye because he loves Trump, this, that, and the other. But people, when will you uninvest from the matrix and realize you're never going to have freedom or equality until we develop something for our own, or we have some economical control, which then gives you political control. Because fuck politics. We know politics doesn't run anything. The richest people in the world run everything. So blacks, if you don't want to be killed every day and shot down by the police, you want your kids to get good educations and have fair and equal human rights like everybody else, you have to fucking own something and do something better with your money than Jordans, Balenciagas, Gucci's. You got to own something. You got to go open a business and hire your fellow brothers and sisters so that we can have we can get a stronghold on economics. Then we can flourish everywhere else, and then you'll see changes. That's the only way. Do I believe it's going to happen in my lifetime? No. Do I have is my faith in humanity dwindling? Yes. But I will continue doing a spiritual work because I don't believe you can really fight it from a physical plane. You really have to fight this shit from a spiritual plane. But guys, thank you so much for listening. I really want to hear your feedback. If anybody wants a reading, please email me at tarothelpnow@gmail.com. I anticipate next Friday I will get my website back up and going. You'll be able to book. You'll be able to buy right now because I didn't purchase I didn't upgrade my website and purchase my domain. You can't actually purchase from my website so that you can book. But that's why I say email me if you want readings. Number one, if you just have a small question, a lot of times I like to do free readings. I like doing tarot to actually find out what I want to know. So a lot of times I'll do like a free little 15-minute reading for people. But if you want a paid longer reading, email me and I can get you an invoice and we can do that. I'm going to start beefing up my Patreon page. I had like a Patreon subscriber and I didn't put any videos up in a while, which I really appreciate that. So it told me to get your ass going and go over there to Patreon. And then I've had a couple offers to work for a few psychic networks. So I think I'm going to do that as well, guys. I'm just trying to get my fucking life together and get my daytime shit situated so I can really get to these things that I'm passionate about and get back to you guys on a full-time basis. Let me know what you guys think. Love you guys. Got mad love for Kelis and Nas, and I wish them both nothing but the best. Talk to you guys later, and I'm out.